the key to today's employability is as much as it was several years ago, I think. It's basically your attitude in life, the way you would like to, and of course, basically the passion to work where you want to work. I am saying this from a couple of perspectives. Number one, my own perspective, because I was basically a salesperson, and in the last 13 years I have been in training, which is where my passion is. And I have no fear of not getting employed even at this age. So probably it's basically the passion and your attitude towards life.
Talent acquisition, management and retention, which is the most daunting task for HR?
Acquisition and retention, between the two, right? And management, of course, in between. All right. I think it's the management and retention more than the acquisition, because if you look at the Indian scenario today, you really have surplus stock. It's just that you must be...
The intelligence.
Intelligence. You really have very bright kids and people at all levels, not just kids. It's the question of how you maintain the talent that comes into you, how you get them engaged to do whatever they are into with a lot of passion. That, I think, is the challenge, because the turnovers are pretty high in most industries. Although in my company I can proudly boast of people having very long tenures, and we have at least four people who have put in 25 years of service with the company, and a number of them with 10 plus years of experience within my company. So that way I think we are fairly ahead in terms of retaining people. We have ensured that we kept them engaged throughout.
But is employee loyalty something that slackens the pace of growth of the organization as well as the individual? Oh, sure. Text. Employee loyalty seems to be something that slackens the pace of growth of individuals and organizations. Is that true?
Can you reword the question for me, please?
The more tenured a person is with an organization, he stops growing, and the organization also stops using him in an appropriate way.
No, I don't agree with that, because it basically depends on the values that the management perceives and actually feels to be very good. For example, a person who has, say, about 10 years of experience with the company, with my company particularly, who is at a very senior level, maybe a senior vice president level, or in the construction part, or what we call as the projects department, is actually given additional responsibility of mentoring young kids. That enriches his job. And we have a very, very senior vice president who is known to mentor every new employee, the graduate engineer trainee who comes in, and he is acknowledged as the best. And I think that's what gives him his richness in the job. And I'm sure he will not get burnt out or whatever. It's not the routine that matters. It's the question of how you bring in life even in the routine. That's what's important.
So role reinvention has to happen.
And most of the time it will happen from within. You just have to give that space for the person to come out. I'm sure that each individual in the organization has lovely ideas to implement, lovely ideas to communicate. It's just what kind of atmosphere you provide. Do you provide that congenial atmosphere for him to talk about what he feels?
And also the identity an employee has with the company. Absolutely. That actually, inspires him to rediscover his passion and the ways he can work with the organization.
I agree with you. In fact, in our organization, we encourage down the line people to come up with their ideas. My office boys, my office assistants, they have come up with some wonderful ideas which we have implemented. What did they get in return? Nothing more than a pat on the back and probably a dinner with some of the senior people. That's it. But then they are now enthused to give you more and more ideas, because you created that atmosphere. You created that congenial atmosphere to come up with your ideas, whatever they are.
The old employees and the young generation employees, where does the disparity lie?
Interesting question. I do not know which side of the coin should I be in, old or the young. No, definitely not the young.
You should start explaining from the term old.
All right. If by old you mean age, then I think the older generation people, for argument's sake 55 plus people, should actually don the cap of being mentors, guides, coaches. And that's when they will start seeing that fulfillment in their work. If you say old in terms of experience in the company, now they are the ones who are the knowledge storehouses. If I walk to my 20-year-old, 20 plus years old employee in the company, he has the entire history of the company. The company is close to 30 years now, and more than 2/3 of the company he has seen. So he can pick up examples from his experience and guide you and tell you what's right, what's not right, or what. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. He made a mistake, he learned from that, you don't have to do it again. So that is the role that the older people will have to take. The younger people apparently have a challenge at this point in time. That is the I know all syndrome. Okay, now not everybody, but most of them, they have that feeling that I know everything. And that will prevent them from asking pertinent or impertinent questions to the seniors. And don't expect seniors to come out and understand your thought process. If you talk about it, then they're there to help you. But if you don't even express, if you think you know everything, then the problem is probably with the younger generation, not so much with the older generation. In my company, we have tried to change that system. When we take the fresh graduate engineers, we call them GETs, graduate engineer trainees. They have a target. They have a target in the number of questions they have to ask every day to the seniors.
That's good.
You bloody well ask 10 questions a day to find out what is what.
Okay.
And if you've fallen short of today's target, you'll have to make good of it the following day. I mean, nobody's going to keep track of it. But the thought process is that please ask questions. So we always keep telling them during the first year of your career in this profession, you ask any question, nobody will consider it stupid. But after 1 year, if you ask any question, even though and I think that will bridge the gap between the old and the young.
And creating the right vacancies for the current generation of employees, I mean candidates, right vacancies, or tailoring the vacancies to suit their expectations. How does this actually work?
All right. I do not know much about the other industries, but as far as my company and our industry is considered, you see, it's a multifaceted stuff. If you're coming in as a civil engineer into my company, particularly, we actually encourage job rotation. So whenever there is a job rotation, there is learning from different parts of it. Like structural engineering is a different. If I'm taking, no, not only, yeah, the roles are changed, and within the department, he is exposed to different, let's say, different areas. For example, project management is generally not given to down the line people because it involves a lot of responsibility, accountability. So with 2 or 3 years of experience, they are handed over independent projects. So by doing it, I have actually created a vacancy below him. Somebody who joined me as a graduate engineer trainee is now a project manager. So there is a vacancy for a graduate engineer trainee. Now, I create the vacancies, or I define the vacancies based on the kind of jobs that he or she will be doing at the entry level. Then onwards, it is on situation, right? So when I'm taking kids into my company, 23, 24-year-old kids, it's general. They learn everything in bits and pieces. But as they progress, they go on to a higher level where they start working on a specific project. 3-year-old guy today in one of my projects is completely in charge of one full tower construction. Entire thing is on him, or making up a mock-up flat. He's completely in charge of that. So there is a vacancy that's created below, and I identify that this guy is good in, let's say, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing part of engineering, so I position him there. So there's another vacancy that is created here. So that's how we continually keep the vacancies on and try and fill them with the right kind of people.
Talent identification, the talent spotting within the organization. I mean the extra talents, other than the roles they have been assigned to. Is it really happening?
The answer would be a yes and no. Yes, because we create opportunities for people to show the talents. No, in the sense that many of these opportunities are not grabbed by the people. I particularly feel right now because everyone in the organization is working on all the 8 cylinders, because we have a huge task to complete before, say, another 4 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now. But yes, in the past we have created enough opportunities for people to show up their talents. For example, we do what is called a Brigade Fest, which is my annual day. The annual day is always a day for performing arts from within the company. We also have the birthday celebrations, which is done at the end of every month in all my locations, where the birthday, we call them the birthday bees, birthday brigadiers, are given an opportunity to show their talent, whatever it is. Could be singing, dancing, even telling a tongue twister, a tough tongue twister. Even that is a talent, according to me, you know. Or we are now encouraging them to not only showcase their talent, but also showcase the talents of the spouses. So it's quite possible that my wife is very good in cooking, so probably she comes and cooks. She needs a platform. We have always showcased the talents of the children of brigadiers. We have many different areas of doing it. One is my in-house magazine called Insight, where, like, my daughter herself was in the Republic Day parade on 26th of January 2015. So that was showcased. That was a small article written, her photograph was there, and I'm sure she must have felt very happy about it. So we find opportunities for showcasing the non-technical or non-domain related talent as much as we do it for the domain related as well. We have something called the Under 35 Think Tank, which is basically, we call it U35TT in short, which basically is to help those people under 35 to come up with their revolutionary ideas. And many of the ideas that they have come up with, we have implemented, and we have rewarded them, you know, recognized them. So we do a lot of these activities too. Right?
Thank you for your